Hi, welcome to LB0 Fox India Norwegian Hem Ventures. I'm Morten, LB0 Fox India. And a little while ago, my good buddy Jürgen over at Alpine Radio Waves, Oscar Echo 4, Juliet Hotel Whiskey, designed a PTT button for his radio. And I wanted to have one as well. In order to use my Flex remotely, it'd be just so much nicer to have a physical PTT button than the PTT button on the screen. So I came up with this little thingy. It uses a 12 millimeter tactile switch, and it's just a 3D printed case here. But it's not fun for me just to show you that thing. Let me show you how I built it, and we'll be right back. So we're at the workbench, and what I have here are the parts needed to make the PTT switch, or at least the switch part of it. How to connect to your radio and your plug, you have to figure that out yourself. I'm using DuPont cables here, and that's simply because I'm just going to jam this into a DB9 connector for a serial connection to my Flex in order to trigger PTT. I'm not going to demonstrate that today because it is not important to what we're doing. So besides that, I got a tactile switch here, which is from one electronics kit I bought a while ago when I needed some parts. The switch weren't the parts I needed, but I got the switch here. That fits into the top here, like so. We're not gonna jam that in here just yet. And then the cable comes out of the bottom, and then you make some kind of adapter to the DuPont cable, or you just use another cable up to the switch. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take a multimeter and figure out which two pins we need to short in order to trigger the PTT. So we're going to start with that. So we have the multimeter here. Let's put that on continuity. Let's check that it beeps. Okay, it beeps. Then it's the tricky part of being able to press the button and hold the leads into the same position at the same time. And it seems like the two ones on the same side are the ones we're going to short, because there's continuity between the pins side to side. So we're going to short these pins, and in order to do that, we need to solder the DuPont wires to the plug here. So let's go ahead and do that. And we're also gonna just bend these pins in order to actually make it fit into the 3D printed case here. So we're going to use the female end of the DuPont cables in order to hook whatever we want to hook up to. So I'm going to just strip these two, remove the male plugs. Then I'm going to use my favorite stripping tools for DuPont cables, and that's my T, so you're not going to see that because DuPont cables are actually really frail. So it's just a matter of doing it as easy as possible. Then we're going to pre-tin these wires a little bit. Just going to clean off the iron a little bit. Tin that end, and we're going to see if we can make this just stick the other way around. And as I've said a million times before, don't take my videos as any kind of soldering class. I am not by any means of the word good solderer. Pre-tin the tips here, then we're going to pre-tin these connectors. Another factor about my soldering and pre-tinning here is that actually I'm doing this with a camera and a piece of lighting in between myself and whatever I'm soldering on. Let's go ahead and see if we can make this stick. Yeah, that seemed to stick. Let's do the same with the other one. See if we can. Let's see if these two sticks now. They do. So now we check for continuity on the cables here. So let's get the multimeter back out. And this is about just as tricky because my multimeter prongs aren't small enough to fit inside the DuPont pins here. So I'm going to see if I can do it like this and get my hand out of every cable here. And there apparently something's put the multimeter to continuity, and that should help. That beeps, so we're good there. Let's remove the multimeter again and mount everything. So as I said, we're going to take these pins and just bend them in slightly because this is, to put it mildly, a really tight fit. And route the cables in here. Make sure that the plug is the right way around. And just press it in. And it's made for a press fit. Like that, we have the top part. Then we're going to take the bottom part here, and we need to route one and one of these DuPont connectors out through the hole. I could have made this hole a little bit bigger, but I figured not have anything bigger than I need to have. And then the bottom part here is made to just press fit in here. And like that, we have our PTT handle here. With the DuPont cable, so you can actually adapt these to phono connectors, to jack connectors, to whatever you need to input to your radio for PTT. Or in case of my Flex, just a DB9 connector and jam it into the right pins. Redneck engineering, but hey, it works. So that's it for the build of this. Let's go ahead and get back to the studio. And those parts took about, well, hour and 20 minutes to 3D print. Took me about 5 minutes to put everything together, so it's a relatively easy build. Turned out really nice, as I showed you in the intro. It's something that I really like here. And my camera's flashing low battery here, so let's hope that I don't need to re-record this. Hopefully, you'll see the first take. If you see me babbling about this, it's the first take. This model, or these two models, I put them out on Thingiverse for you, so you can just download them there. Link down below. And the thing is, though, if you want to make one of these, the challenge is usually something for a plug you have. So in case you have a 12mm tactile switch, this is the right design for you. If not, you might have to design something yourself, but it's relatively quick and easy to whip up in Fusion. I think I spent a couple of hours in Fusion to make this right, and a couple of test prints. So not that hard at all. Anyhow, since the battery's running out, I'm gonna cut this short. If you like this video, click the thumbs up button. If you didn't like it, watch this far thumbs down button. You know the drill. Leave a comment down below. Have you done anything like this? Would you like to do anything like this? Would you have done something different? Let me know. Besides that, do remember to subscribe. I'd love more subscribers. And until next time, my friends, 7-3, see you down the bends, and see you in my next video.